Welcome back to the Elias Macko Show. We welcome our next guest onto the program now. Nabil El-Husseini joins us. Is a Palestinian Montrealer, has family and friends in Gaza, and was actually born in Gaza in 1949. Nabil, welcome to the program.
Thank you. You're welcome.
First things first, why don't you tell me about why you chose Canada, Montreal? Why did you leave Gaza, and why did you make Montreal your home?
Okay, actually, my family left Gaza in 1960. I was a child, 11 years old. Mm-hmm. We lived in several Arab countries like Libya for 12 years, 4 years in Egypt, and then 14 years in Kuwait. And I was a landed immigrant in Kuwait when the war, the first Gulf War, took place. And as I was evacuated like other Western citizens from Kuwait in 1990, and since then I am living in Montreal.
So it seems like, having lived in many parts of the Middle East,
yes.
War has been a theme of your life, escaping it and getting away from it.
Yes, actually, the first war I witnessed, it was 1956. At that time, I was 7 years old in Gaza. And really, what hurts me the most at the time being is the suffering of the children.
Yeah.
Because I remember, actually, I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional,
That's okay.
but it's it was really too bad for children. I really find it is what is going on, like killing civilians, bombing houses where children might be there. It is really horrible. In 1956, fortunately, we were not hurt by the bombing, but and it was much less than what we are seeing now. In 1956, it was
Nabil.
Maybe, yeah.
Why do you think that there's so much war in that region for centuries and decades? The more recent history and the long history of the region. Why do you think there's so much war in the region?
Yeah, you have to. We have to go deep on the history, and what was going on in that area. The whole land, which is called now most of it Israel, and the Western Bank and Gaza, historically it is Palestine. It is historically called Palestine till 1948. Mm-hmm. Till Israel were established at that time, after war with Palestinians and other Arab countries came to help the Palestinians. Yeah. So since then, the situation of the Palestinian immigrants, refugees who were forced out of their houses from the land called after Israel, of course, they didn't have justice. So the reaction is what you are seeing now.
Yeah, and Nabil, obviously we can go back on this one, and you've heard it from others that say many people have historical claims to that land, and it goes back millennia, which makes it so difficult. You would think, though, that leadership, right, that there would be leadership that could eventually find peace, right? What do you think about the leaders in the region on all sides? The leadership in Gaza, the leadership amongst Palestinians, leadership in Israel. Do you think that's the key here? What's happened with leadership?
Leadership is part of it. But the reaction of people, it can't be controlled by just putting the blame on one party, on the leadership. It's I think a lot of outside hands have a lot of influence in the area and interests, and that's why the situation ended like this. Yeah. Historically, from the very beginning, it was Palestine till 1948, and then the Israelis came because they were pushed by the bad treatment in Europe to emigrate elsewhere and try to find a refuge.
And I do need to point out, because you've brought up 1948 a couple of times, right? Of course, there was a UN negotiated plan to divide the territory. Israel accepted that plan. It was not accepted by Palestinians at the time, and of course we have decades and decades of that. Of course, this is a long history that we don't have time on radio to dissect. But I do want to talk about the suffering that's going on right now, and what you're feeling for friends and family members. How much information have you gotten out of Gaza in the last since this? Of course, I have to point out this began with an attack on Israel that killed 1,400 people. What have you gotten out from your friends and family since then?
Not much. In the beginning, in the first 3-4 days, there were possible to get some short messages from them saying that we are still alive. That was the maximum we heard from them. Since then, for the last few days, we don't hear anything from them. I have a friend, he's Canadian citizen. He went with his wife to visit his family there, and he's stuck there. And we informed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. His children informed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that he's present there with his wife. Last Saturday, the embassy called him and they told him go to the borders with Egypt, but under your own responsibility, because the roads are very, very dangerous. And then he hesitated to go because of the situation and the bombing everywhere. And then he went there because they said it's going to be the borders opened only for 5 hours. He reached there, and at the time, since then, the borders were never opened again. And the embassy advised him to stay where he is and wait, because at any time it's possible to open the border.
Your friend,
and he was obliged to stay in refugees school with maybe hundreds or maybe thousands people, all the time in the school.
Now, your friend felt it was safe enough to travel. I don't know when he left and how early this year he went to Gaza. Can I just ask you, before October 7th, before this latest episode began, would you have felt safe enough to travel to Gaza to see friends and family?
Before, yes.
You would have, huh?
Yeah, but the situation is always, very bad, because the people of Gaza are sieged, lot of pressure on them. They are for 16 years living in like a prison, so the violence might break at any time, and this is a result of the suffering of the people there.
Nabil, I'm sorry we're out of time, but I do want to thank you for coming on our show and sharing your voice. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
That's Nabil El-Husseini, Palestinian Montrealer. He's got friends and family in Gaza.